move steady through the plastic haze. Resin spills thick in the workshop maze. Layers pile up, rising from the dust. A shape from the void you will and trust. Sanding smoke fills the heavy air. Shavings scatter, but the heart don't care. Brush dips deep in a palette of dreams. Color bleeds to life in fractured gleams. Statues born from the sweat and grind. Pieces fit in a dead sunlight. Placed on the shelf like trophies of vines. The resin alchemist carves a ton of time. Flaws, but beauty shines untold. Fingers shake, yet grip the bold. Edges sharp, yet the soul feels raw. Art forged under hands that saw. It's not just a carve or paint that sings. It's shaping chaos into graceful things. The imperfections make it true. Each stroke a story bleeding through. Statues born from the sweat and grind. Pieces fit in a dead sunlight. Placed on the shelf like trophies of vines. The resin alchemist carves a ton of time.
Hello guys, it's a re-upload from my first video cause I thought 35 minutes is a bit long to watch me paint one statue. I sped up some parts, I cutted some parts out. Now I show you the base process again. I highlighted the upper parts of the beds to give them a little bit of a highlight. The complete beds I colored with mahogany brown mixed with a bit neutral gray. Used sharp brown for the darker parts and leather brown to highlight the bones. After this I shaded it with Citadel Agrax Earthshade and used a bit of Nuln oil to deepen the shadows and the parts beneath the wings. Always spare the rest of the colors, Citadel is expensive enough.
Statues born from the sweat and grind. Pieces fit in a dead sunlight. Placed on the shelf like trophies to find. The resin alchemist carves the time. Minor flaws, but beauty shines untold. Fingers shake, yet grip the bold. Edges sharp, yet the soul feels raw. Art forged under hands that saw. It's not just a cover paint that sings. It's shaping chaos.
Lower part of the base was straightforward. I needed metal colors and FX colors from Vallejo to let it look old. Used it for rust, for the crevasses, and used some browns, brown washes, brown contrast paints to deepen everything which needed deepening. I colored the chains and the rings that hold the chains silver to show that it's steel and not as rusty as the rest.
Statues born from the sweat and grind. Pieces fit in a dense line. Placed on the
Back to the upper part, I needed to shape the stalagmites under the base for the statue in the end. And this I made with Agrax Earthshade. Before this I mixed some black with some browns to let the stones look like stones. And after this I got to dry brushing and painting the base itself, because the overspray from the beds was just too much.
Pour the resin thick like blood. Sickly fumes, they bite the lung. Printer screams under grinding lows. Statue born from molten mud. The shadows rest the fight, etched in raw, carve the seams, molded visions out of dreams. Shadows bend under my hand, raise the stone from silent sand, brush the paint, the soul defined, breathing life into design. Yeah.
The teeth had to stick out, so I painted them with black tan and white. After this I painted with nylon oil the inside of the eye sockets, the ears, the belly and the underside that wasn't dark enough for me.
Fingers trace the hardened flow, every flaw like scars they grow. Chisel down the spite within, bringing forth the phantom's kin. Painted black to master cracks, silver sparks from endless black. Eyes of fire glowing bright, born to rise from endless night. Shadows bend under my hand, raise the stone from silent sand, brush the paint, the soul defined, breathing life into design. Fingers trace the hardened flow, every flaw like scars they grow. Chisel down the spite within, bringing forth the phantom's kin. Painted black to master cracks, silver sparks from endless black. Eyes of fire glowing bright.
Dry brushed around the edges of the chains, the stands of the base and the rusted base itself. The chains I made a little bit brighter than the rest. Painted it with nylon oil because nylon oil is extremely fitting for every metal part that needs shading.
From endless night, shadows bend under my hand, raise the stone from silent sand, brush the paint, the soul defined, breathing life into design. Design. Into design. Same, there's shades I can't name, bullet shapes out of hot dripping flame. Layer by layer the ghosts take form, resin hearts in a plastic storm. I carve my soul piece by piece, God of the printed release. They stand like gods ready to slay.
Now we have to dry brush the shit out of it.
And the hiss feed my grind, blueprint scrawled in the back of my mind. Pain runs wild.
Get the same effect like when I use the cenithal highlight. We need to use brighter colors while dry brushing from the top and darker colors from below to just get the same effect on this black outfit.
Rising on full display. The hum and the hiss feed my grind, blueprint scrawled in the back of my mind. Pain runs wild in jagged streaks, each stroke of voice my silence speaks. I carve my soul piece by piece, piece by piece. God of the printed release, we stand like gods ready to slay. My art rising on full display. The hum and the hiss feed my grind, blueprint scrawled in the back of my mind. Paint runs wild in jagged streaks, each stroke of voice my silence speaks. Gallery of faces.
Even if all the browns seem a little bit similar, you have to trust the process and look when the statue is assembled and stands in the shelf that it's a very harmonic combination of browns, blacks, grays and silvers, so that everything is a little bit different but the whole picture is very harmonic and everything fits to each other. This is a figure or a statue in the end that hasn't so much details because of the whole dry brushing on the whole leather outfit, but I really enjoyed painting the knobs and buttons and especially the belt buckles.
Towers rise where the darkness creeps. Gallery of faces screaming back. Perfection born from the plastic tracks. Breathe life where emptiness weeps. Towers rise where the darkness creeps. Gallery of faces screaming back. Perfection born from the plastic tracks. Glossy eyes locked in fierce debates. Pieces of me locked in their fakes.
To paint something like this edge, you need to use the side of the brush and not the tip. Use these two colors for the stitches on the belts. Even if it's a small part, the face and the two hands, I needed around 5 to 7 colors to make the skin as real as possible.
Every flaw like scars they grow. Chisel down the spite within. Bring them forth the phantom skin. Painted black to master cracks. Silver sparks from endless black. Eyes of fire glowing bright. Born to rise from endless night. Shadows bend under my hand. Raise the soul from silent sand. Brush the paint, the soul defined. Breathing life into design.
Did the color for the tooth flash as thin as possible, so I took it right out of the airbrush with a little bit of airbrush thinner.
Bring them forth the phantom skin. Painted black to master cracks. Silver sparks from endless black. Eyes of fire.
If you use your brush, you should always use a wet palette to save on color.
Raise the soul from silent sand. Brush the paint, the soul defined. Breathing life into design. Design. Into design. Hands of the maker stained with life. Cursed art, dripping with feet fall like blood to the fight, carving chaos into shapes of light. Mistakes like whispers echo in the night. He tears them down, perfects the bite. Raise the sandpaper like the sin. Breathe the dust, let the grind begin. Figures twisted, born to stand alone. Resin souls hardened into stone. Wow.
To get the teeth and the flesh around the teeth as real as possible was a real challenge. I needed many pinks, many reds, a few purples, I needed some contrast paints, I needed beige, I needed blacks, I needed browns, I needed whites, yellows. I mixed all of them to get this bony, real color, this ugly and horrific, unwashed and dirty look that he should have. Why should he brush his teeth? I used some gloss acrylic varnish from Vallejo in the end, just for the tongue, for the gum and for the tooth flesh. I left the teeth dry and matte, just to look like he is breathing through the mouth. When you laugh and when you breathe through the mouth, all your teeth get dry, and I wanted to get this look that he hasn't the chance to close his mouth because of the always be forced to laugh.
Resin hearts in a plastic storm. I carve my soul piece by piece. God of the prince in release. They stand like gods ready to slay. My art rising on full display. The hum and the hiss feed my grind. Blueprints scrawled in the back of my mind.
Some shades and contrast paints into the wrinkles, cause he has many of them.
I carve my soul piece by piece. God of the prince in release. They stand like gods ready to slay. My art rising on full display. The hum and the hiss feed my grind.
The inside of the mouth and the tongue had to be as glossy as possible.
The hum and the hiss feed my grind. Blueprints scrawled in the back of my mind. Paint runs wild in jagged streaks. Each stroke of voice, my
Here you see my best friend, liquid mask. It's better in my opinion than masking tape, especially for faces and for wrinkly things like especially this face.
Hiss feed my grind. Blueprints scrawled in the back of my mind.
Sadly, my battery of my phone was empty when I painted the boots completely. Sorry, but you won't see anything, just the first coat of contrast paint I used. Especially the laces and the buttons I painted from hand after this. The soles were just black. And after all of this, my statue was finished.
Molten dreams in his trembling hands. Resin flows like rivers where he stands. Fire and fury feed the shape unseen. Born from chaos, sharp and lean. Winter horns a hymn of becomes a hymn of raw creation. Layers lifeless till his wild temptation, sculpting the edges, breathing them to life.